Session, SWM presents Careers in the Wood Industry. I'm Adam Kessler. I work for AWFS and Society of Wood Manufacturing, or SWM. Also helping me out is Adria from AWFS. Today we will be watching a brand new video about the woodworking industry and talking to some industry professionals. A few housekeeping tips. If you have any questions or comments throughout the presentation, please post them in the chat or in the Q&A section. We will answer attendee questions throughout the session. And this session is being recorded. And we would also like to thank our industry guests who have joined us today. I'm happy to share with you a brand new video we just produced, and we really hope that you like it. This video is all about Architectural Woodworking Company in Los Angeles, California. And they do high-end woodworking for clients, all kinds of cool high-end stuff. So let's check out the video. Hold on 1 second. Technical difficulty here.
Hi, my name is Saul Martin. I work for Architectural Woodworking Company. I'm the VP of Manufacturing here at the facility. We do a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces. It gives you the opportunity to think out of the box and do creative stuff as opposed to, well, I'm building a box. Now, right here, rarely do we do the same thing twice. You gotta get a little bit of everything to be successful in this industry.
Hi, my name is Eric Suzuki. I work here at Architectural Woodworking Company where I'm the chief detailer. We take the architectural and design concepts that are in the architectural drawings and figure out how we're going to go ahead and build those things. The passion comes from the challenge in figuring out, how to build things. You get these unique architectural designs. Sometimes it takes a lot to figure out how we're going to have to build that. I took a lot of shop classes in high school and intermediate school. I immediately went to trade school. I went to LA Trade Tech. I was an apprentice when I started here too, so I'm living proof that you could start at the very bottom and work your way up to a managerial position.
My name is Ted Norvell. I work for Architectural Woodworking. I work in the milling department. It's beginning the first phase of working off of shop drawing and cutting all the plywoods, veneer, laminated plastic, solid wood, put it all together and get it ready for the bench department to be assembled.
My name is Raul Barbosa. I'm the veneer guy and I love wood. I'm the one who decided, okay, I'm gonna pull this veneer for this job, I have to cut it for the length, cut it for the width. We make the faces, we press it, we use a hot press, and that continues, Like we're doing like all this radius stuff. That's, I think, the most excitement to me, when we make radius faces.
I'm Andrew Luna. I work at Architectural Working Company. I've been here since I was 19 years old. I've been doing carpentry all my life, third generation. When it gets to assembly, we have to separate it, organize it, make sure we have every piece that we're going to need. Once we start building it, we have to make sure that our dimensions are correct before applying glue and making everything as permanent as possible. Each time you walk in here will never be the same thing. It's always going to be custom, always going to be something new, and it's always going to be somewhat of a challenge. I started off in wood shop as well. You know, high school, I did wood shop all 4 years. I actually went to a trade school. I went to Job Corps. That's where I kind of got into the cabinet making. I applied at the Union Hall, and this is the first place I came after that day.
I am Pedro Diaz, and I'm a finisher here at Architectural Woodworking Company. I need to make sure that our product looks 100% before it goes out those doors. So that includes the staining, the painting, the spraying, whatever it is that we need to do to color match our wood, our products, to make it look like $1 million. I love everything about it. You're learning something new every day. 2, you're never bored. At least myself, you're happy to be here because, man, you gotta work on something different today.
There isn't a greater satisfaction than working with a young apprentice and the light bulb turns on and you see when they got something and it's like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. And I can sleep good at night knowing that someone has learned something new.
Most importantly will be the attitude and the willing to learn. Of course, you're not gonna have the experience where, oh, they want you to have 10 years of experience. You don't. Like we said, you learn every single day.
My grandfather was a carpenter. That's why I started since I was a little, you know. You have to love what you do, you know. If one day I put a tattoo on my body, I'm probably gonna put, I love wood, you know.
If you are interested in woodworking in general, I would recommend that you just jump in and, just go for it.
I've been very fortunate in this career path because I enjoy it so much. It's literally like going to Disneyland on a daily basis. It's like, wow, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. Fun stuff.
Okay. Adria, do you have something for us?
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Okay, so before we get into the Q&A with our industry professionals, I wanted to thank all the students who completed the questionnaire before this event. On the questionnaire, we had asked you, what was the most positive aspect of working in the wood industry, in your opinion? And I wanted to share the results with you. Have you ever seen the show Family Feud? It might be a little old, but I think it's still going. I'm going to give you the responses Family Feud style. So when we asked you what was the most positive aspect of the woodworking industry, the answer was 8th most popular, the flexible hours. The 7th most popular answer, it's an essential or important industry, which is absolutely true. Many companies in our industry have stayed open and been busier than ever during the pandemic. The 6th most popular answer, using the computers for design. If this was your answer, right on, we want to talk to you. We definitely need people who can use computers, and CAD and drafting are essential skills for us. The 5th most popular answer was, you get to constantly learn how to make new things. So true. It's hard to get bored. You'll always be learning. The 4th most common response, you get to use tools and machinery. So many amazing tools and machines, and they're always becoming more advanced, so lots of opportunities to keep learning. The 3rd most common answer, the ability to work with others and work in a team. Absolutely, this is so critical. The 2nd most popular answer, it's an important life skill to know, and the pride in doing it yourself. For sure, you're never going to regret knowing how to build things for yourself. And the most popular answer was being able to work with your hands and use creativity to bring ideas to life. Yes, absolutely. This is incredibly rewarding, and I think you'll hear from our industry experts that this is definitely a calling and a passion for so many in our industry. So congratulations to everybody. Everybody's a winner here, and these are all great aspects about our industry. And so I'll turn it back over to Adam now.
Thanks, Adria. Now I'm happy to introduce to you our celebrity woodworker from the video, Mr. Saul Martin. Saul is the Vice President of Operations at Architectural Woodworking Company. Saul, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, hi, Adam, Adria, guests. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. My name, again, is Saul Martin. I work for Architectural Woodworking Company. I started there when I was 20 years of age, right out of college. And that's the only shop I've ever worked at. Been there a little over 27 years. So I've experienced a lot of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Saul. And also with us today, we have Lucia Morales from Stiles Machinery, and she is an edge processing specialist. Lucia, would you like to talk about yourself a little bit?
Hi, Adam. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for having me here. I'm very excited to hear that machines and tools were the fourth most popular answer. So I come from the machine world. I've been selling machines for, I would say, 16 years. I've been working with the Homa company. Stiles is a Homa company subsidiary. And I've been working with them for 11 years. I moved to the States in 2015, where I started working out of California, covering all of the West Coast.
Very nice. Thank you, Lucia. Okay, so now we're going to move into the Q&A section. So if anyone has any questions, try and get them in the Q&A section or the comment section. We're going to start with one for Saul. So Saul, can you describe your education woodworking experience? What did you learn and how did you get to AWC?
Yeah, so I initially started doing woodworking when I was in middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I took woodworking and plastics. And when I went over to the high school, I continued to take woodshop classes there all 4 years, 3 of those years, double periods, and then some. At that point in time, I think when I was a sophomore, my high school teacher, Rudy Vandenberg, he got me into VICA, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America, now Skills USA. I was fortunate to compete at the regional, local, regional, and state level. And I really took a liking to woodworking. You know, I wanted to be a carpenter, but I was enrolled in cabinet making millwork. What's that? Needless to say, I continued on to Los Angeles Trade Technical College, where I stood there. I was there for 2 years, 4 semesters. Also competed in skills at that point. And my college professor there called into architectural and said, "Hey, I have someone here for you." And they took me in. That's the only shop I've worked in so far. I don't know. I guess they like me there. Part of inventory now after 27 years. But between all of that, I've gone back to college and learned lean manufacturing, AutoCAD. I've taken numerous other classes to enhance my skills around the shop. And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at now.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks, Saul. Okay, Lucia, I have a question for you. So you studied forest engineering and wood and paper science in college. So we want to know, how did you choose that field of study and what experiences in high school led you to that decision?
Okay, so well, I will start with high school. My high school did not offer wood shop at the time. For some reason, the home ed teacher didn't like boys, so she made girls stick with her through 4 years of home ed and make very good cookies. But so I didn't have much exposure to woodworking. I decided to study forestry or forest engineering because I was very concerned about the environment and I wanted to pursue a career that had to do with sustainability. And then in my senior year, I had the opportunity to do an internship at a company that made particle board and plywood out of their own managed forest. And it was very exciting. I was there for 2 months and I worked in the forest and all the way to the press that applied the melamine on the panels. And I just fell in love with the industrial side of it. So as soon as I finished college, I took a job selling machines. I worked for a company for 2 years covering the Central American market, so from Panama to Guatemala. And I felt that I needed to learn a little bit more about wood and machines. So I applied for a scholarship so I could get a master's in wood and paper science in North Carolina.
Very cool. Thank you. Okay, next question is for Saul. Can you give us some examples of some difficult or complex projects you have worked on at your company, Architectural Woodworking Company?
Yes, Adam. In the video, we saw a couple of pictures of a project that we did down in Orange County, and it required to do this 18-foot diameter table. Although it's not really big by size compared to other tables I've made, it was so complex due to the fact that it had compound radius faces. And it really pushed me to the limits, having to work with metal and wood, knowing AutoCAD, having to lay up a lot of stuff in weird, complex laminations, if you will, just to be able to bend the product and get everything to align and look like $1 million. And literally that's how much these items go for. So certainly in working on complex projects, you have to be very well versed at a multitude of things, whether it's woodworking, metalworking, welding, you know, just so many different things, computers, you know, you have to be good at the AutoCAD, drawing up elevations or cross sections of how you're supposed to route wiring through this table to be able to get the microphones to work. So you have to not only figure out how you're going to cut the parts, how are you going to make access for all the other trades that are going to come in after you. So yeah, that's in recent times, that's definitely been the most challenging, and certainly pushed me to the limit. But
yeah, you've worked on some pretty complex projects, so that one's one of them for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Lucia, since you're the edge processing specialist, can you explain to us a little bit about edge banding and what it is?
Okay, so I would say for the last 60 years and more, most furniture is not made out of solid wood anymore. It's made out of panels that are called composite panels or wood-based panels. And these panels are normally like a sandwich where you have a decor on both sides, which could be a laminate, could be a veneer, could be foil. And in the middle, there is either like particle board made of chips, or there's plywood, or there's MDF. And so when we make a cabinet or a closet, or let's say an entertainment center, we don't want to see that edge with all the chips, you know? So we want to cover that, and edge banders do that. Edge banders apply a matching edge to the decor. So it could be also a veneer, it could be a plastic, it could be a paper as well. So I joke, whenever I go to a shop, and I always say, you know, everybody needs an edge bander, even when they don't know it.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, I'm just looking around my office now and I see in every cabinet almost. So. Okay, Saul, what are some of the critical skills or concepts that you think a high school student should focus on to excel in a career in woodworking?
I think the most important thing to know and remember in woodworking is to measure twice and cut once. So always get your tape measure and measure your item twice, and know how to measure, know all of your decimals, or actually fractions, and know exactly what dimension you're going to give the other person to cut your parts for, unless you're going to cut it yourself. But there's definitely a lot of different skill sets that you need to work on. But I think that's probably the most important. Measure twice, cut once.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. You save a lot of material that way too. So. Okay, Lucia, what are some of the career pathways in woodworking machinery, and how would somebody learn more about these jobs and the skills required for them?
Okay, let me start with the last part of the question. So how do you learn about those available jobs? I would say just go online. Most companies will list the careers that they offer, the jobs they have available. And depending on how deep you want to get into the knowledge of woodworking machines, that you can start just applying for a job without knowing anything about machines. You can also learn by watching YouTube videos. There's not much literature specific to woodworking machines. I would say the best library I've seen has been at Cerritos College. But in general, most companies will offer you the opportunity for training. The different career paths are usually in sales. In sales, you need to understand what your customers want to produce, you know, how they want to do it, what their budget is. And there's a lot of soft skills that you need to learn to understand people, to be, to empathize with them, and to find the best solution for them. Then there's also careers in the technical aspect of the machines where you need to learn more about mechanics. And nowadays, most machines will use computers, so it's best to know more about electronics as well. But specific for the machines, we will give that training as the companies that hire people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen, you know, obviously at our show, Stiles has tons of different crazy machines all over, and they all do something different. It's pretty insane. So this one's for both of you. I guess we'll have Saul start. What has been the most rewarding aspect of your career?
Well, I guess my most rewarding aspect is being able to work with all the fellas that I have down in the shop, and using all my skill sets, learning new stuff. Obviously, compensation is nice. As you learn more, you make more. But then again, you're always busy. Somebody will keep you busy somewhere. Nonetheless, it's I think for me at the shop that I'm at, we get to work on so many different projects that I get to use all my skill sets and pick up more as we work on projects, and that really drives me to go to work the next day.
And Lucia, how about you? What's the most rewarding aspect of your career so far?
I think so far it's been the travel. My job has taken me to over 20 different countries. So I've gotten to know many different cultures, tried many different exotic foods, and made friends all over the world.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Okay, so we wanted to ask another question. So this one's about robotics and advanced technology. And basically, how are they being used in woodworking machinery now?
Absolutely. I mean, robots have been used in the woodworking industry for over 20 years. Now, before, only the big companies could afford them because not only were they expensive, but they require like a whole team of engineers behind them to implement them. But today, I would say for the last 5 years, they've become more mainstream, or at least more popular. And so there's a lot of people asking about them. There's a lot of companies that offer robots. We as Stiles, we have a partnership with a robotics company as well. And I would say the first step is also for a lot of shops to go into digital solutions. That's the big thing nowadays, and also one of the biggest career paths we have right now.
Mm. Adria, do you have any questions from the Q&A or the chat?
Yeah, we got a couple great ones, but I'd like to add on to, that's a great point, Lucia, and I think some people wonder if there is, you know, opportunity in a future in woodworking if it's going towards automation, and it's a really good point that there's even more, or at least more challenging ones possibly, because we certainly need trained people to operate.
Sorry to interrupt. Robots are not there to replace humans in the woodworking industry, just to get rid of human error, but also provide a more ergonomic and safe environment. I would say also more exciting. Yeah,
it's fun when you get, you know, the vacuum lifts and you just hand it off to a robot. You don't have to hurt your back anymore. So.
Exactly.
That's a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. While we're on the topic of machinery, this is for both of you, I guess. This is a student question. how safe are the machines that are used in woodworking?
I guess I could move forward on that. Table saws nowadays are relatively safe. There's a lot of new technology on the machinery that will actually sense when you go to touch it, and it will get out of the way, essentially, so that you don't cut yourself. Of course, in a shop like ours, we have older equipment, and they're a little bit more dangerous. But I would venture to say that if you go to any shop that has any new equipment, and we also have some new equipment with safety guards on them, they're all going to be relatively safe. So I don't recommend anybody taking any guarding or anything that will keep you from getting hurt. So it's relatively safe, and the way I kept myself safe from getting ever hurt, I still have all 10 digits. I always thought what was the worst possible thing that could happen to me, and I would see a gruesome photo inside my head, you know, it's like, oh, I better put my guard on. Thank you.
I would add, like, the newer the machines, the safer they are. There's always, you know, a big part of the operational manual that covers safety, and it's important to follow instructions. I think they can only be as safe as we want to be safe.
Mhm.
Great point. Absolutely. Training is important. And having respect for the machines, right? And their power, and yeah.
Yeah. Don't stick your fingers where you're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's right. Saul, this is one that we got a couple times for you. As we mentioned in the last session, you're a bit of a local celebrity. A lot of the students that are participating in the sessions are from Southern California and know you through your extensive work with Skills USA. And some of the students wanted to know, how did you get to the point where you knew how to impart your knowledge, if that makes sense? And I think that comes from years of experience, but when did you, so I guess when did you feel comfortable transitioning from being, from working with wood to teaching others to work with wood? And how does that process happen?
Good question. I don't think I'm the type of person that holds back anything. I've always liked to share any information that I found interesting. So whenever I get the opportunity to go tell somebody, hey, look what I found online, you should really do this, you know, I'll do it. And if I'm working with students on the floor in a contest and I see them struggling on something, you know, I love to show them. I don't do anything for them specifically. I'd rather walk them through the process. And I've always kind of done that. I just never realized how much, and now I do it more, which it's good to be able to share your information, because you can teach somebody a process and you can walk away and do other things. So when I'm working in the shop and I teach a couple of the guys how to do something, I can then pretty much hand them that work and they can handle it, and I don't have to double check their work. So it's important that that if you see that in you, you know, continue to work on it. It's a good soft skill to enhance. It's people will gravitate towards you. I feel that I like it. I like to be around people and show how to do things. It's fun.
And you do it well. You definitely have a spirit for it. And even though many people have asked you to go into teaching, that might not be your calling right now, but this is a shameless encouragement to those students out there who feel a draw to teaching. There's certainly a strong need for woodworking teachers as well. So you could reach out to us. We definitely have some great contacts and resources for helping you with that direction if you're interested.
Absolutely. If any student feels the same way I do about teaching, I think, you know, get in the industry for a couple of years. You don't have to be there like I have. I've been working in this craft for well over 30 years, essentially. But you know, the reason I don't want to leave is because I think I help more educators now in my position, as opposed to getting into education. I reach out more, I guess. But I certainly would like to see a lot of the students that are out there right now go into industry, learn the craft, and then get back into education. There's a lot of money to be picked up right now from federal grants, state grants to work on shops and grow programs. Thank you.
All right. So we're right about out of time at this point. So we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, especially our industry guests, Saul and Lucia. We hope that you all enjoyed the session. Feel free to chat in your favorite part of the session or tell us if you learned something interesting. Meanwhile, if you want to learn more about careers in the woodworking industry, visit woodindustryed.org. You can see the link at the bottom of the screen here. If you would like to reach out to me or any of the panelists, you can reach me at adam@AWFS. You can see that email is kind of in the trees above Saul's awesome shop there. And finally, make sure to check out Manufacturing Day websites for other Manufacturing Day events taking place in your area throughout the month. There's some great ones. I know we have 2 more woodworking related videos / wood Manufacturing Day events coming out. So it's really a great way to kind of break out of your normal teaching and get to kind of experience a little bit of what it's like to work in the woodworking industry or another industry. So be sure to check those out. So on behalf of us and all of our sponsors, we'd like to thank Stiles, Bloom, Jorbox Specialties, and also Architectural Woodworking Company. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye. Thank you.